Fire in the Dark. Chapter 1. No one was in the mood for a madman. It was just too hard. Pledge fire for mine! The madman shouted as he stormed back and forth through the crowd of people on the bridge. "'Tis 1666, and London is doomed!" The madman growled at passer-by. He had to tell someone, but they always pushed him away. If only someone could listen, but no one would. On the side of the bridge, a dark man stood still, staring out at the river. "Maybe he will listen," thought the madman. He waved his way through the crowd, crying, "The end of the world is now!" Even when the madman stopped next to him, the dark man didn't move. He continued to stare out from the bridge. What was he looking at? The madman squinted in the bright sunshine. Some way down the river were two tall ships. Their proud masts shimmered in the hazy heat. They were Royal Navy warships. The dark man seemed to be studying them closely. On the decks of the both ships, sailors were busy preparing to go to sea. The madman took the man's sleeves. "You see, last year is the plague. This year we are at war. The end of the world is coming, I tell you." Slowly the dark man turned his head and stared into the madman's eyes. The madman felt as if his heart had stopped. The dark man smiled. "Yes, the end of the world is coming," he whispered. The madman couldn't believe that what he had seen in the other man's eyes, a darkness of terrifying that it sent the madman stumbling away, a violent darkness. The villain hadn't wanted the revel himself to anyone. He wasn't ready for that yet. But then, what did it matter? No one would believe a madman. The villain turned back and studied the two ships. He needed to smuggle something on board. That was his deadly task. But now, when the ships were so heavily guarded. Chapter 2. The madman stumbled through the crowds. He crashed heavily against a handcart loaded with sacks of flowers. It just come from the mill at the end of the bridge. The man pushed the cart, shouted at him, "Kindly stand aside! I am in a hurry!" "I've seen a darkness!" cried the madman. The man drove the cart, glanced quickly as two warships downstream. "I don't have time for this," he muttered. "I know you!" cried the madman. "You are the Mr. Royal Bread and Biscuit Man, Thomas Fannier, the king's baker, supplier of bread and biscuits to his Majesty Navy of your, if you please," snapped Thomas. "Though I must not be for much longer. If you don't get out of my way, I have an order of biscuits that has to be finished and on board ship by tomorrow. and Thomas pushed on through the crowd. The Baron turned and followed. He had heard Thomas talking to the madman, and now he had an idea. Chapter 3. It was late by time. Thomas had finished baking, as he picked the last of the Navy's order for ship biscuits. His concentration was broken by a noise outside. It was a night watchman walking up Pudding Lane. Thomas listened to the watchman's familiar call. "'Tis for after 1. Take care of your luck. You're light and you're fired, and then you are done." Wearily, Thomas raked out the glowed embers in his oven, put out the candles, and went to bed. Time passed, all as quiet in the narrow lane and allays. Not even the occasional chime of church bell disturbed the sleeping city. Then, out of the darkness, 2 figures crept into Pudding Lane. "Where are we?" Nina muttered quietly. "Where are we? Wherever are we?" They paused as if waiting for an answer. Then Nina spoke again. "Oh, great! I lost contact. I can't get hold of Tyler. Most of building in the land had sign hiding from them. If they're shops," said Nina, "maybe they will give us a clue." But Nadine wasn't listening. He started to run. He had seen something. Halfway up at the land, one of the shop windows had started to glow with a flickering orange light. As the light grew, Nina could make out of the shop sign. It was a loaf of bread, a baker's sign. "Nina, quick! Fired!" Nadine was already pushing the bakery door by the time Nina caught up with him. But by chance, the door was unlocked. Nadine held his breath and pushed his way into the room. The top of half room was filled with choking smoke. He dropped to the door and cold. His skin felt tight from the instant's heat. "I don't think there's anyone in here," he shouted. "Then get out!" screamed Nina. "Now!" "No," said Nadine. I can just make out the fire. It hasn't spread far. I reckon I could put it out." Without waiting for an answer, Nadine looked around for something to use. To one side was a stack of crates with heavy canvas cloth thrown over them. Written on the crates were the words HN, Royal Navy Ship Biscuits. With all his strength, Nadine pulled the cabinet across the room and swung it up over the fire. The cloth smothered the flames in an instant. With the fire out, he staggered out into the line, coughing. "You are an idiot!" snapped Nina. "You could have been..." Suddenly, the link in her pocket started to whir. Dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. It was Tyler. Part of Download had got through. "Download from Tyler. I repeat, danger. September 2 ND 1666, the night the Great Fire of London started. Keep clear of area no as the city. You must not change the history by getting involved with the fire. Nadine gasped. You don't think we... Nina looked up from the link. I do, she nodded. I think we may just put out the Great Fire of London before it began to start it. Nadine started to panic. What do we do now? I mean, we change the history, which means everything changes from this point and onwards. What do we do? Moments later, another broken message arrived from Tyler. Download from Tyler. Going on. The time wave has got crazy. It's hard to describe. Everything is blurred. It's as if the time wave is trying to change its shape. You must... We got no choice, said Nina. We are going to have restarted the fire. But we can't do that, gulped Nadine. People could get hurt, or worse. But who knows what terrible things might happen if history is changed forever, said Nina. We have to put history back on course. Nina turned and went into the bakery. We don't need violence, muttered Nadine. We're doing a pretty good job messing up the history on our own. And see you next time. You can see the next video and you will know more about Fire in the Dark.